Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast.
Welcome, dudes.
How you feeling, Joe?
Mate, I'm doing surprisingly good, to be honest.
So we've been on lockdown now for an extended period of time.
It's long. Someone told me today that we've been locked down for as long as we were last year here in
Sydney.
In Sydney, yeah.
Right. And it based on everything, it could go to Christmas, if we're being honest, with numbers and the way things are. And so you're because you've got a young baby, you're kind of doing your own thing out in the park. Like what's keeping you occupied during these lockdown times?
I guess, I'm working like normal. I'm out in the park a few days a week. Yep. Got a few of the Bulletproof crew down there. And then I've got, a couple of sort of one-to-one clients that I see. And then I'm at home working.
Yes.
And I work at the least 5 days a week. I often do a little bit on weekends as well. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I think the fact that I got a kid that's 7.5 months old.
Yes.
I wouldn't be doing anything else anyway.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I probably, maybe we'd be able to go away for the odd weekend or something like that.
Sure.
Go see my parents or, my brother and sister, whatever. But really, you're kind of looking after the baby.
Yeah.
You're with the fam, you're walking the dogs. So I'm like, fuck, I feel quite privileged that, even though we are in a lockdown, which is really obviously not ideal,
No.
it hasn't changed things for me a huge amount.
Right. But I mean, you get to spend more time at home in this very important time with your little kid, right? Because a lot of people talk about how quick, I have no idea because I'm not a parent, but people say how fast.
You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know. Now look at my phone and 120 photos of the same shot of the kid eating a chicken's drumstick. I don't care, Joe. Stop showing me the photos, mate. Kind of care. He's a cute kid. He's cuter than you, but gets it from his mother. The question is, like, you actually get time with your kid in this time when maybe you'd be here at the gym or you wouldn't be spending that time with him, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'd be out of the house way more.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. It's special. You know, I still try to like break away from the office. Once I'm working, I like working.
You're in focus mode.
Yeah, it's very easy for me just to fucking stay at the desk until like
Hours.
oh shit, 7 p.m. I should probably go home now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, or go downstairs.
Yes.
So, whatever. But yeah, no, I feel fortunate.
Yeah, definitely.
And fortunate too that given the nature of our work, I can still make a living. I can still coach people. We still have our online, program. There's things there that are still going on.
Yes.
I feel for those people who like they lost their job or their business is shut or whatever. Like there's some people having a bad time.
Can't even operate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm probably feeling it a little bit more this time around because I'm a little bit more dependent on PT.
Yeah.
And now because of kind of more restrictions, can't PT people as much because of where they have to, where my clients live relevant to where I live.
Right.
And this like kind of last year, I was moving furniture. So I could rely on that.
Because that continued all throughout lockdown in Melbourne.
That kept the lights on.
Yeah.
So even though it was possibly one of the more stressful, just head messing things, moving furniture, I could show up every day and do work. And that, knowing that you had that and that you could leave the house, I think even though stressful as it could be at times, like one job was just like, we have 2,000 book boxes, which they're the heaviest. It's just basically.
Oh yeah, book boxes are always fucked up.
So
because
heavy.
you can pack every fucking square centimeter of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just timber.
Yeah.
It's just reorganized tree in blocks. And we just want you to take them to this donation center, which is up 5 flights of stairs, no lift.
Oh.
Oh my God. So hard, like just demoralizingly hard. But I guess what I'm hearing from people out there in the jiu-jitsu community is just the days blur. You lose structure. You don't have a reason to leave the house.
Yeah.
Even if you are kind of fortunate enough to work from home, so you've got income, you're just at home and you go look in the fridge for the 5th time.
Yeah. Snacks.
Yeah, just what your brain is just goes to these weird places because it doesn't have the structure and there's not as much to look forward to. And I'm not saying that in an unappreciative way. This is what people have been telling me. I'm very grateful too. I feel very privileged to be where I am and to have my health and all those things which a lot of people don't necessarily have, and even go so far as to say I feel privileged to sit here and talk with you, Joey.
Well, you are.
Well, I guess in ways, apart from putting up with you, but the whole other side of it's great.
It's like that when you sit with the mentor sometimes. It brings up uncomfortable things. And you have to work through that.
Or you have to talk
How does that make you feel?
Well, when you sit down and have to talk with your little brother at least once a week, it's like, God, just grow up, mate. I think the thing is, a lot of people who haven't had this situation before, now it's a new thing. It's kind of last 2 years. My friends who are artists who have to structure their own days, or like as a PT, you got to structure your own day. If you're used to a 9 to 5 grind, or just that show up to an office, when you don't have to do that, the day just kind of
free wheels.
Yeah, it can get away from you.
Yeah, you're so right. I think training for people in that situation, and even for myself, I'm sure for you too, training becomes one of those things that you can use to just set a schedule, give you a base to work from.
Yeah, I agree. For me, the morning walk, getting up, not super early, not as early necessarily as I was previously, but just getting up and being like, right, have some water, mob up, put a podcast on or whatever, and just walk. I'm just going to walk for an hour.
What time do you get up?
Depends on the day. Days I'm coming in here to Jungle Brothers, usually about 6. It averages out about 6.
Yeah.
I'm not getting up at my 4 a.m.s in the way I was before. 6 is a nice sweet spot. And yeah, just an hour. And if I haven't got a commitment, an hour and a half, and just get my brain clear and just walk around the neighborhood. And I find that sets me up really well to just have a clear mind to get on with business. Get on with whatever I'm doing.
I actually took some inspo from, I see your morning walks. You've often posted on Instagram stories at that time. Sure. And I thought, you know what, I could use some of that because Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm in the park.
Yes.
Tuesday, Thursday, I don't have any bookings, so I work from home all day. Good days to get through my creative stuff.
Indeed.
But I often just sort of roll upstairs and start working. I thought, I'm going to go for a walk. So I went for a walk last week, got a coffee, took the little dog, Jazz, didn't take both dogs.
Yep.
I had to hide the fact that I was getting the leash from the dog box from the big dog because if he knows that, someone's gone for a walk, we're all fucked. But yeah, it was real nice. And I agree, it does give you, it just get a bit of oxygen through, get some blood moving, gets you thinking, gets you kind of looking, like it helps.
What can I say? Inspiring a generation.
Oh, there we go.
And I guess training has changed too. And we've got to kind of default to, I would say definitely in my life, I have taken for granted that I live in a gym. So I've always got a squat rack. I've always got barbells. I've always got a bunch of kettlebells, dumbbells. Anything I need is there at my access. And now it is not. Because with further restrictions, I can't necessarily be lifting at Jungle Brothers at the times when it suits me because it conflicts with regulations. So I've got to go back to sandbags, kettlebells, home training, body weight, which I love, which is cool, but it just means I have to change the way I look at training. You have gone back to your kind of, I guess, roots in the rings, the park, the body weight. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, I kind of like it because, for guys like us who are very, we're very interested in different forms of training, right? We have the things that we do, but then it's always like, new stuff that I'm working on, and it's kind of never ending. You want to be good at Olympic lifting. You want to lift some sandbags. You want to get your fucking mobility on point.
Sure.
Plus you're trying to train jits and you really want to get a handstand. It's like, there's too much.
Yeah.
So I found this last year, the lack of choices through a time like this has actually been quite nice.
It's good.
Because it just means there's less to work on. So like, I'm just going to work on that. So I've been working hard on the bulletproof standards.
Nice.
And that's been what I do with my small group guys.
Awesome.
And for anyone listening, that's the next program that we'll be releasing for members. And so we've been going super hard on that, and it's been really cool because it's all about doing more with less. So I turn up to the park, I got 2 kettlebells, and I got a pair of rings. I can carry it, one in each hand, and the rings are in my
Sling
backpack.
it over,
And it's like, get to the park, and we do the whole session.
Nice.
There's a couple of exercise bands in there as well.
Sure.
But it's been cool. I'm like nailing the pistols, nailing the Cossack squats.
Yeah.
And then also on top of that, I've been getting back into, some of my sort of more complex bodyweight stuff on the rings, which has been awesome because I love that shit. And I probably, when I had my knee surgery, it became so much about rehab.
The knee.
For the, 18 months following that I really didn't give much thought to building new skills.
Yes.
And the body weight thing, for anyone who's maybe less familiar with it, body weight strength training really is about skill development.
It is.
Because you're chasing new movements all the time. That's how you make it harder. So I've been really enjoying getting back into it. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm feeling strong. It's good to get back on the rings. And it's nice to have that feeling of not needing a lot of gear.
Yes.
I don't need the gym as such.
Simple.
Even though, I mean, it's always nice to have the gym, right? The park's great until you get a fucking cold, rainy day. And then you're like, I wish I could go back to the gym,
Yeah, just a bit of shelter. And I guess the thing which is hard for me to see now, because this happened in Melbourne, is council people, government officials taping off equipment. Taping off sections. Like, you can't train here. You can't train there. And it's like, look, and I'm not saying anything controversial here, guys. Like, if you don't have a gym in your building and you don't have a lot of equipment, just a park gym is a bit of a savior.
Yeah.
It's so nice to just...
It's like a bastion of health.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'll just go over there, And even though, okay, don't get me wrong, I see that the complexity in maybe too many people gathering in one spot. But that said, like, if that's your only major option for getting some kind of outdoor activity in, other than a walk or a run or whatever it might be, and then you can't do it, that's a bit of a knock, for me at least.
I totally agree.
Because I'm someone who wants to do some pull-ups and dips, and if, it's all right. I'm kidded. You may not be. So I just see that and I get annoyed and I just actually break the tape and do some pull-ups anyway.
They haven't done that this time, have they?
They're sectioning off areas in parks.
Yeah, right.
So Az, actually, one of our trainers here, shout out Az, there was a guy taping off the area where they
the pagoda thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they taped that last year too.
Bro,
that thing's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's such a good covered space so you don't get rained on or morning dew and nice flat surface to train and stuff. Goodness gracious. So, I mean, there is that. But, I mean, we all have our fingers crossed that we can get to a point where, we can do more activity outside because the weather's getting better. I think I was not far from Bondi the other day. I had a cab to a business meeting and the cabbie was laughing. He's this Ukrainian guy and he sounded Russian. It's like he didn't say, "Are you Russian?" because he would have punched me in the throat. No, but he was like, "Oh, look at everybody, they're all there. It's the park, it's the beach. It's crazy for me." So he's just laughing. He's like,
it's packed down there.
It's a pandemic. It's too many people. It's a stampede. Had this giggle. Yeah, he's like the buddy. It was amazing because the truth was, I didn't go to the beach, but the cops were down on like dune buggies, like shooing people away because the weather. We've been very, I guess, blessed, cursed. It's been so warm. It's been like early summer here.
Yeah, it's like middle of winter.
Yeah,
but it's coming towards the end. But yeah, it's been like spring, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been lovely weather. So I don't know how they're going to keep people inside when it turns into Australian summer.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to get managed.
Yeah. In terms of your training, for someone that, you like working heavy barbells and stuff.
I do.
How do you find not being able to do as much of that?
Look, it's okay because I guess this is where we start to talk about life without jiu-jitsu, right? Jiu-jitsu is an outlet for me. For whatever reason, I like to grind. I like a bit of smash. Don't mind a bit of physical contact, a bit of bump. That's a real outlet. I feel much calmer after jiu-jitsu. I don't, I've had my opportunity to strangle someone. If I'm good enough, I strangle them. If I'm not, they might strangle me. But, it's been able to have that outlet. Not having that outlet, I'm like, right, I need to strangle a barbell. It's crush. And it's not the same satisfaction, but it is an outlet. It taxes me. It pushes me. I get a certain amount of, not buzz, I think it's the wrong word, a certain amount of stimulation from it that I feel like I tested myself, pushed myself, and I derive satisfaction from it. So I can just go be a better human. So that way I'm a better listener for my partner. I'm more focused when I sit down. I'm not sitting there feeling like, I'm wasting my life sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
I need a little bit of that every day, having spent, the last 20 plus years doing those kinds of things. I guess the change more recently has been I need to do more mobility. I'm sitting down more. You know, like I guess like everybody, I'm spending more time on the computer.
Yeah.
Obviously, you and I are working on projects. We're sitting now as we speak. And I've got to do more mobility because also speaking to the standards, I am probably stiffer than I am mobile.
You're coming in at white to blue belt for a lot of those.
Well,
mobility
I don't know if
standards.
that's true. I'd say blue to purple, mate. Don't throw
Squats
shade.
look pretty tight at the moment.
What are you talking about? When you got 200 kilos on your back, but you don't know anything about, that's fine.
Just say there's a lot of daylight between the calves and the hamstrings.
There's actually not a lot of daylight. It's just my hamstrings are really big and my calves are really big. So it misjudged the angle, bro. No, I definitely, for me, ankles and shoulders. Not moving as much, not squatting as much. I'm just not moving as much. And the first place that gets tight on me is my ankles and my shoulders. So I'm actually enjoying doing more flexibility training, which is something I spent so much time doing back in the day when I did Taekwondo. So I am actually looking forward to, I'm enjoying the process of stretching more, feeling a bit better, moving easier in my body. It makes me realize just how stiff I've gotten in the last, 6 to 12 months from just lifting and not moving as much.
Do you find that your body's feeling better with an absence of BJJ in your life?
Oh, yeah, it does. I hate to admit it, but
we all do.
My fingers feel fantastic. I don't wake up with just random pains. Like, why is the back of my ribs sore? Like, what? Just a weird, not a muscle, just like, what is that? Joey knee riding my back. No, I think it makes you, I think the lack of jiu-jitsu makes you realize how much it just mashes your body.
Yeah.
And then without it, it's like, wow, I feel really pain-free. My mobility is improving day on day. I'm getting stronger week on week. Yeah. There's no minor injury setbacks. Yeah, and that does make you consider the cost, because I've had a few chats with people talking about, what if I just don't go back to jiu-jitsu? Oh, controversial.
Right.
Could you quit? Could you stop? I don't know if you ever quit. I think it's one of those things where, when we talked about it before, you can stop, and we've had an enforced stop, but I feel like the absence makes the heart grow fonder, and the froth that comes out of not doing jiu-jitsu, as soon as that open mat comes back, bro, it's just going to be wild.
You only got to catch a couple of well-timed sweeps or cheeky submissions, and you're like, I love this fucking thing.
Back.
Who's like hitting?
I'm back.
Yeah. I'm sorry I said those things.
I'm sorry, jiu-jitsu. Forgive me. But I mean, there's other things we've got to do to keep us sane when we don't have jiu-jitsu, right? So
I tell you, hear this.
Oof.
This Friday, I'm actually going to be going and doing some sprint work.
Oh,
jeez. Some hill running, some sprints.
God.
How about that?
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
so the knee's that's got to speak confidence into the knee, right?
Yeah. Well, I was actually back into some running before I had my second surgery.
Okay.
And I was doing some some sprint work, and it was going okay. And then I had the second surgery. And then after that, it was like back in the rehab train.
Yep.
And then I kind of just never went back to the running.
Sure.
And it's now been, it's coming up to 12 months since that surgery. So I'm like, it's time. It's time to go back and do some running. And I was at the park the other day, and the big dog, Ivar, the greyhound.
Yeah.
You can't let him off the lead because he doesn't know his fucking name. So the only time you can let him run is when we're in a dog park that's fenced off.
Right.
And we weren't we're at the Oval.
Right.
So
Sprint City, you versus the Greyhound.
I was like, come on, Ivar, we'll go for a run.
Joey versus Greyhound.
Yeah. And you got him on a pretty long lead, but it's like the motivation is to try to keep the lead loose while you're running. Right. So like you're hammering it, and it fucks up your gait a little bit because you can't really swing your arms because you're holding the lead.
Yeah.
And you can't take big strides. Right. Because at any point he's a dumbass. He might just cut in front of you to go sniff a dog's ass or something. So you got to take these short steps. Yeah. It's a bit of a cramped style. But I did a few laps of the park, kind of sprinting, walking, sprinting. And I was like, man, that felt good.
Nice.
And I felt fast.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I put it to the Dark Prince,
who
we both know and love.
Oh, guy, yes.
Shout out.
And
he's like, man, I'd love to do some. So this Friday we're like, all right, let's do some hill sprints.
Cool.
Yeah, when I
Tough.
said, yeah, but it is part of, you know, again, it's like it's kind of come about due to the lack of options.
Yes.
And if I was at the gym, I probably I wouldn't be out in the park, and I wouldn't be in a position to go, you know what, sprinting's actually awesome, and it is something that I like.
Yes.
And it's really good for you. So again, I feel quite fortunate that it's been sort of placed in front of me.
Yeah, definitely. And I've actually been just roaming the neighborhood. I've been climbing fences, just walking along walls.
Have
just,
you?
Yeah, not parkour, but just like I reckon I could scale that. I reckon I could jump off that. Like it's 6 a.m. There's no one around.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess just like the kid in me wants to do something.
I mean, is that not parkour?
Well, just jumping off shit. Well,
I think
it could be.
Yeah.
But I'm not dive rolling off stuff. I'm not trying to make a show of it or record it for Instagram. It's just something in me that goes, I wonder if I could climb that fence. But then you get to the top, you're like, dang, this is pretty high.
I fucked up.
Yeah, if I fall and no one's around, hello, help me. I'm very badly broken. Both of my legs.
Man, you know what I've noticed from not training jits? There is the thing where, sitting around more work at the desk makes you a bit tighter.
Yes.
But I actually notice I'm more mobile when I'm not training jits.
Yeah.
Because I feel like all those, like the hip flexors, the abs, the shoulders, the pecs, all that stuff that, you know, that you're just tightening up is not getting tightened up. And I know this because I've been working on my back bridge.
Easier.
And I'm like, my back bridge is coming along.
So easy.
Yeah, my handstand is kind of coming back. Whereas when I'm doing jits, it's like
much harder.
I need to warm up for 30 minutes before I can handstand or back bridge.
Yeah. You've got to spend there has to be a dedicated amount of time to account for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And balance that before you can.
Exactly. You're like, you need to return to baseline.
Yeah. And I mean, for any of you guys out there who are really struggling, because everybody's just talking about missing the endorphins, the grind, seeing your mates, all that stuff. You've got to say, at a critical point last year, and to all our American guys, this is not a diss, this is just hear me out. Last year, there was times when America was not in a good situation. And now there's parts of America, they're doing pretty good. Parts of America are opening up, different things are changing. And even when you thought, it'll never happen, I'll never get back to jiu-jitsu, invariably you will. Like it's going to happen eventually, guys.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not the never ending story. Don't be too disheartened. But, you know, that said, when you can't do physical stuff, what do you do mentally? Because a lot of people tend to just binge watch Netflix and kind of feel like, well, I'm not going to see anyone. I'm not going to get out of my track pants. You know, I'll go to the office on Zoom and just blank screen.
Tuck my business shirt into the tracky dash.
Yeah. The newsreader presentation. Yeah. But I think that's the thing that, I mean, are there certain things that you're doing to, I guess, keep your brain going or restore sanity in that way?
Well, I think I'm fortunate again in that I have my own business. Like I run my own business, right? And so there's never ending list of things to do.
No, of course.
So really there's no opportunity. Like I can't wake up and put Netflix on.
No. I'm talking more outside of work, because there's plenty of people who are working online and there's some people who are not.
Right.
Is there anything you're doing in your day-to-day life where because you don't have another opportunity to do something else, or you've got the baby strapped to you, or is there something you're doing to kind of keep the brain going?
Look, beyond like, no, really that's what my training is.
Yeah.
You know, and just going like, I'm going to make 60 to 90 minutes to go and train today.
Yep.
And that's just going to happen.
Yep.
And I fuck it up some days, don't get me wrong, it doesn't happen. But if I get my training done, I get my work done, and then I get time with my family, I'm like, that's
good day.
That's everything.
That's a great day.
Yeah. And some days I don't get that. Like today, today I'm going to finish. Today I set this, when I looked at my schedule at the beginning of this week, I'm like, I'm going to finish at 4:00 on Wednesday because I'm going to go hang out with the fam. But then tomorrow I'm going to work till about 7 p.m. I'm like, then I'll go later on Thursday.
Sure.
You know, so it's a give and take. But again, like I sort of to your point, I feel like the nature of my work and the nature of my life right now, I'm sort of getting my fill of those things.
Yes.
Whereas I was talking with a mate today. He's a personal trainer as well, so he was out in the park this morning.
Yep.
But he's like, man, my partner's not working. So he's like, she just stays in bed till like 9:30 every day. And, you know, great, right? Like catch up on sleep. Perfect.
Good for you. Yeah.
But, you know, but he was implying too that she doesn't like it, that, you know, she feels lazy and it's, you know, it's quite an unproductive sort of, and it's like, yeah, you need something.
There's got to be a reason.
And if you don't have anything, like if your job is off the cards, then I think you have to go and find some shit.
Invent something.
Like, fucking read books, study an online course.
Yeah.
Take up fucking, you know, dancing on
Whatever.
YouTube. Like,
yeah.
do something.
Man, I saw a lady, an older lady, an Asian lady. I was, you know,
Asian lady.
Man, she was cutting a rug. She was, I thought, is that a young TikToker? Because I had the camera set up, but like it was actually a tablet. She had a little clip thing was set up on a park bench, and she was like sumbering and
wow.
I was like, she's going hard. And it was kind of like a Zumba-esque class. But from what I could see from my distance was like, it looked like a lady in a leotard. It looked like an actual dance class on the thing. And this woman was going hard. And I was like, wow, that's a workout. She's getting after it. And I think that's the thing. You gotta find a way to keep yourself sane.
You got to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, going back to those structures, it's like, people have jiu-jitsu. I train Monday, Wednesday, Friday night at 6 p.m. That's my thing.
Yes.
Or I get up at 5:30 every morning and I, you know, it's like you have these structures. In the absence of those structures, you got to make them again. You got to build them with something else, don't you?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just fucking like, that's the thing. If it was a couple of weeks of lockdown, all right, whatever, like take a break. But man, it's been 7 weeks.
That's right.
It might be another 7.
That's right.
You know, and that's like, what are we talking there? We're talking 4 months.
Yeah.
That's a long period of time.
Yes, sir.
And just I think for like feelings of like like your worth and like, yeah, I'm bringing my best to life and I'm doing what I can. It's like, you don't want to come out of that and be like, oh, I just fucking, put the handbrake on everything and packed on 5 kilos and didn't do shit.
Yeah. Look, some people, from what I'm hearing, some people are doing better this time around because maybe they did that the first time. And then some people are doing it tougher this time around because in truth, there's less support, like at least here locally in Australia. If you're a small business owner, you're a sole proprietor or whatever it might be, it's harder. Like you big businesses are getting looked after and little businesses are not. And plenty of businesses will not be here after this thing, depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, to keep it on a more positive note, I mean, I've been working on my Portuguese.
Oh.
So I've been doing like a kind of hour a day.
Você quer falar comigo?
Well, não sei falar. No, it's funny. They always teach you things that are
I said, here is the door, in case you were wondering.
And I said, Thank you, Joe. Thanks for my lesson today. It's funny because they always teach you things which are not necessary. They're like, here's how you order a Coke. Like, I don't want to order a Coke. Like, why you tell me that? I would like my tea with milk and sugar. I don't even think that, I mean, sure, you have sharp, but you have tea.
I remember learning how to say, I had a Brazilian girlfriend at the time that I was learning it, which is, the reason why I was learning it. And it taught me how to say, I like to buy things for her. I buy presents for her. and I would say
Did she write the course? Here is my credit card details.
It was so funny. Yeah, they're just putting, I love studying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super funny. The shit that you say. And then someone tells you, oh, no. Like no one in Brazil says that. We don't say that. You're like, but that's what it said on the tapes.
But I mean, it's been good because it's connected me back with something that, last time I was in Brazil was like 2014. It's a real throwback. And I'd love to think that sometime in the future I can go back to Brazil and connect with those friends that I have there.
How are you studying it? It's
just an online course. It's just called Rocket Language. Mm-hmm. It's half the price of Rosetta Stone, but it's good.
Is Rosetta Stone sort of one of the
It's the most expensive, even though they have like some good tech around it in terms of you learning it and the games and stuff. If you read all the reviews, it's super overpriced compared to so many different language services that you have online.
Yeah.
And yeah, I logged into this one. It's not a commitment. Like you just sign up. It's a monthly fee thing. it's not that high. Like for me, it's like $15 a month, and there's heaps of exercises.
Man.
And yeah, they just go, oh, had you considered this? And they give you little rewards and badges like, hey, you're tourista number 1.
Bada bangs.
Hey. But
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, so that's a bit of fun.
Did you take a bit of offense, Gio Martinez ripping on Mikey Musumeci for speaking Portuguese? Like, fuck you, Gio.
No, actually, no. But the funny thing about that is like, whatever. I don't know either guy other than I do know. We all know that Mikey Musumeci is a total Poindexter and not the coolest guy ever. And he said, "Oh, you know, I'm from New Jersey. Like, I can talk smack. I don't mind. You know." Like, guy's never sworn in his life and like the straightest guy ever. Gio hardly said anything to him. He got so upset.
Yeah, I don't, because he made out like Gio went on a bit of a tirade.
Gio was just trashing him.
During the fight.
Yeah. And I think Mikey he's not used to being disrespected because he's a world champion.
Yeah.
But he's a total nerd. And if he's such a tough guy and he's so resilient, why'd he get so offended? Like, it's like, why are you so sensitive, bruh? Weak hearts will break. And I think, I think Mikey Musumeci has amazing jiu-jitsu, but he's clearly not very socially developed. So in that context, clearly Gio did the right thing competitively to get under his skin, Like,
totally.
It was I think it's clever on his behalf because it's psychological warfare, right?
Totally.
So
it always backfires when you then lose the fight. But that's you roll the dice, right?
Yeah, you got to have a crack. And you got to say no one's probably better than Mikey Musumeci at that weight class, really.
I mean, the fact that, even the way he said, like, I didn't respond to any of this shit and I bottled it up and I focused on the fight.
Yeah.
And then he, did an amazing job. And then after the fight, he just exploded.
Yeah.
That speaks to like that level of focus, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, whatever you say, sportsmanship, whatever, now with Fight to Win and all these cards, they're trying to make more of a show of it. So if there's any kind of controversy, they are milking it. They are just publicizing the hell out of it. They love it, whether it's flow grappling or any kind of thing. But no, I mean, I can't say that I've ever had proper Portuguese lessons. I've just picked it up from being there, and I really would like to have like at least conversational Portuguese. So when I go back to Brazil, I can talk to my friends, just out of respect for them, just have a bit of a convo in Portuguese. That's what I'd like to do.
That's cool. Maybe we can have an episode in Portuguese one day. It would be an absolute like fucking a horrible thing to listen to. Just be you and me just trying to like.
Lucky we have no listeners in Brazil.
And then the drink was cold and delicious.
I do not want sugar with my Coca-Cola, please. Komazuka. But the other thing, which is something I've tried to put a bit more time into, is reading. And actually, my partner had a crack at me the other day that I have too many books next to the bed that I'm not reading. I have like, she said, there's more than 20. I said, there's not more than 20. It'd be lucky if it's more than 10 books. And I think she actually counted them before we had this conversation. So she already knew. She's like, no, it's 20 or 30 books. They're just sitting there. You're only reading one of them. And I was like, no, I'm reading like at least 5.
Was it the Men's Health? It's like how to get bigger biceps, and it's like sitting like halfway through the stack.
No, it's a ridiculous different, because I just, if for example I listen to a podcast like this one, if there's a recommendation, I'll be like, oh, that guy knows what's up. I'll buy that book. Just jump on Book Depository or whatever it is, and I'll order it. I don't have a budget for books. I'll easily buy anywhere from 4 to 8 books a month, just because I will read them eventually. I'm like, because I never remember. I don't usually write notes and go, oh, this guy said this book. I hear it. If I think it's valid, jump on, buy that book.
Yeah.
And then I don't even remember. And then I'm just getting these books in the mail. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's sweet. That one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, there's 28 books next to my bed. And I'm only really reading one of them.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm done with that one book. But she said to me, could you just cull it to 1 or 2 that you're actually reading at the time and put the rest in the freaking study? And I was like, oh, fair enough. Okay, if I must. So yeah, man. And I mix it up, like there's one book.
What's that one at the moment?
So the one that I've been rereading Mastery by Robert Greene, which is a great book. I actually think it's one of the best books he's ever written. He's written a lot of books. And then also Good Omens by co-written Neil Gaiman and another guy. They wrote it together. Anyway,
what's the deal there?
It's about it's kind of about the apocalypse.
Oh.
And it's about a guy he's kind of like a demon, or he's a go-between for the devil.
Right.
But then he's like, dang, if we have the apocalypse, then I'm out of a job.
Some QAnon shit?
No. It's just pure fantasy. They've turned it into a show on Amazon now called Good Omens. It's just comedy. It's just it's kind of English humor.
All right.
So it's a little bit like stuffy, silly.
Yep.
But no, it's pretty funny because he finds out about I think it's like the birth of the devil's son, whoever that character is in history, who is going to bring the apocalypse to Earth. And he's like, oh, damn, the Earth will end. I'll be out of a job. I'm not going to go to heaven. I'm already damned. And it's kind of his story. It's kind of funny. There's lots of other characters. It's totally stupid. But it's just something that stops my brain from doing too much work.
What's your split in terms of, Mastery, I'm guessing is a non-fiction,
it's a historical,
right? And then you got Good Omens, which is very much fictitious.
Yep.
What's your general split there? Do you read a lot of one type, or do you kind of read fiction and non-fiction equally?
I'm like probably 80-20 split non-fiction to fiction. Like I'm my problem is I'm a crack fiend for self-help underdog stories.
Right.
I just smoked it. I will take over the world. If I see an underdog story, I'm like, I want to hear about that. I want to know exactly where it went wrong, how it went right, and how do we go up from there.
Right.
But definitely, and you had touched on this before, bit of fiction before bed, helping to disengage the brain from the real world to just lower the brainwaves and be able to relax.
Yeah.
So I typically save the fiction for the pre-bed, and then if I get a chance to have a sneaky nap, I find reading just helps me go to sleep. So if I get a cheeky nap in the afternoon at 3:30 or something, I have a little bit of a read, and that tends to half knock me out and then catch my nap. How about you, Joe? What's going on?
So reading for me, I really enjoy reading, and it's a habit that I've been working on for so long. However, it doesn't come naturally to me.
Sure.
And so I got to a point maybe a few weeks ago where I'm like, I fucking haven't been reading that much. So I've been trying to do it more. I'm currently reading, I just finished a book which was very disappointing. It was called Happy Money by a Ken Honda, I think. He's a self-development guy in Japan.
Okay.
Writes about money.
Oh, I've heard of this guy.
Yeah, book was incredibly disinteresting. Won't talk anymore. Some people might like it, but I was like, give me something I can get stuck into here and whatever. I just finished, so I ripped through that in like a week or two because I mostly just skimmed most of it. But prior to that, I read a book that I fucking loved, which was Tribe by Sebastian Junger.
Yeah.
And I think
he's a good writer.
He's an incredible writer, right?
Yeah.
Have you read some of his stuff?
I just got, is it The Road? Where he went on a mission with 6 buddies, some of them are ex-military, and they trekked across America.
Oh, that's like one of his first books.
Yeah.
They're like backpacking down rail lines.
Yeah, and they're trying to avoid police, and they're just trying to live wild and also not get shot. Yeah, so I got that, and there's one of the 28 books behind beside my bed. But it is really good.
Man, and I read another. He also wrote The Perfect Storm.
Oh.
Which was turned into a film.
Yeah, right. I didn't know that.
And that is a hell of a book. Like cool. It is, people always fucking say it. It's better than the movie. Well, I don't know. Mark Wahlberg's not in the book. But in any case, that book, and if anyone's ever listened to him, he's on Joe Rogan. He's been on a few times.
Yeah.
Super thoughtful guy. I really like his style. Yeah. So Tribe was fucking awesome. But then I've been reading a fiction. I've been reading what do they call it? A graphic novel.
Oh, cool.
So like an adult's comic book.
Sure.
Called The Last Man.
Oh, okay.
And it's about kind of present day. Something has wiped out all of the men on the planet.
Right.
And there's one dude left.
Wow.
A guy called Yorick. And his pet monkey, Ampersand.
Right.
It's like, and it's just them trying not to fucking die. And yeah, it's immense. It was recommended to me by a friend. And I was always like, graphic novel, comic, it's not, I mean, I like
nerdy, Joe. It sounds nerdy, bro.
But I'd be fucking with a bit of sci-fi. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a go.
Catch those nerd vibes.
Yeah. Hey, Mikey Moose, let's hang out. But yeah, so I've been digging that, and that's been my go to sleep thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really nice, man. That's so good. And I think that's the thing when you run out of options, because that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you subscribe to Disney Plus, Stan, Amazon. There's only so much of that you can take before you're like, man, I go do something else with my brain. And it's really cool. Like my partner, she's started studying, and so she's really occupied with that. So the last, since lockdown started, really, she's been studying full time. And that's been great because she's got assignments, she's working on things. And I think she's also respecting the fact that when I go to sit down on the laptop and I'm working on a project, a blog or a newsletter, whatever, that is work. Whereas before, I think she's like, God, that guy's just slacking.
Playing with the internet all the time.
Look at you playing your video games and replying to messages on Instagram, you fucking wuss. But then now she's got projects to do and assignments, and she's appreciating how much work that is. And it's cool because it's cool to see her really stimulated and developing in that way.
That's awesome.
So that's really nice, man. But yeah, I hope for all you guys out there that you are able to connect with something maybe different, whether it's a different skill, a different community, to keep yourself sane, because this is an ongoing thing. Whatever they say, whatever all the political spiel is, you've got to do what you can to control your life and make positive steps every day. So whether it's working out, doing mobility, scheduling some time for you to do something of your own making to center your day, I think that's very important.
Yeah, strongly agree. If you guys need help with the training piece, obviously, bulletproof.bjj.com. We've got a program. You can start for free. You get a whole week free trial, and you can see everything that's on offer. Man, there's people doing incredible things through that program, strength, mobility, and just, like we were talking about, getting some framework back to their time.
Some structure.
If you find like, fuck, I'm freewheeling a bit, man, rip in, start doing some mobility, start swinging some kettlebells, because it goes so much further than just the physical benefits, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, so much crossover to just feeling calmer, feeling more focused, and just feeling like you've got some agency in your life.
Yep.
My guy.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you, man.
Cheers, guys.
See you, man.